My name is Mark Hooley. I'm a captain with the National Fire Rescue, and I have the honor of serving as your Master of Ceremonies this morning. 10 years ago, you may be seated. 10 years ago, at this very site, nearly 300 guests joined us as we dedicated this incredible memorial to the September 11th terrorist attacks. At the center of our memorial is a 640-pound piece of steel that was once part of one of the two World Trade Center towers. Tragically, it fell to the ground in Lower Manhattan on September 11th, 2001. As Ground Zero was cleared during the months after the attacks, this I-beam was marked by the New York, New Jersey Port Authority as I-beam I-155B. It was then cleared from the site and taken to a storage facility in Queens, New York. 10 years ago, it was gifted to the National Fire Rescue to serve as the center of our memorial. It is surrounded by a tan pentagon-shaped pad. The Pentagon pad, honoring the lives lost at the United States Pentagon in Arlington County, Virginia. The edge of our memorial, Fall Mums, placed in honor of the memory of the lives lost in the rolling hills of Shanksville, Pennsylvania. At the head of the memorial, a black granite-carved firefighter's helmet, donned with the custom firefighter front and the number 343. That is the number of New York City firefighters that were killed in the collapse of the World Trade Center while they underwent the largest rescue effort in the history of our country and rescued over 20,000 U.S. citizens. At exactly this moment, 20 years ago, the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapsed.
C2 calling fire alarm. I'm answering C2. Transmit log 5555 in observance of the 20th anniversary of September 11th attacks.
We ask that you once again, if you can, rise and join us in a moment of silence, followed by the playing of the Amazing Grace and a 21-gun salute by the National Police Department's Honor Guard. our guests can seat as well. It's now my distinct honor to present the Honorable James Donchis, Mayor of the City of Nashua.
Well, thank you, Nashua Fire Rescue, Chief Rhodes, Assistant Chief Buxton, for organizing today's event. And I'm honored, along with Alderman Lopez, to be here with you today, and with members of NFR, of our police department, and their color guard. Thank you all, the first responders, for working every day to keep our community safe. So we're gathering here together today to honor the thousands of people who lost their lives, the survivors and their families of the September 11th attacks. And we are honoring, most of all, the first responders who risked and lost their lives and came to the rescue 20 years ago. Now, once the first tower was hit, people in the offices began descending those stairs to try to escape the disaster. But first responders, firefighters, and police climbed the same stairs towards the inferno with the knowledge that there was a good likelihood that they would suffer injury or death. None of us will forget where we were when the twin towers of the World Trade Center were hit, and when we first heard about it. And the terrorists then hijacked 4 airplanes and carried out suicide attacks against the United States. Even though it has been 20 years, the emotions, the memories of this tragedy is still strong in our minds and in our hearts. Excuse me. To the families who lost loved ones, your grief and your loss are here to are still here, and we want to continue to keep alive the memory of your family members who were lost. The terrorists that attacked the World Trade Center attempted to break America's spirit, to take away our hope and our freedom. But they failed that day because Americans are united against terrorism. Our country was conceived in liberty, and Americans will always preserve and fight to maintain that liberty in order to live safe and secure lives. So as we reflect on the events of September 11th, please, we will always keep in our memory those who lost their lives, the first responders, fire and police, and the other victims of the attacks. And we will continue to honor, again, most of all, the first responders who climbed those stairs and in an effort to save the victims and save the buildings and all of the people who ultimately sacrificed their lives. So thank you to Nashua Police, of course, NFR, for everything you do here, and thank you for asking me to join you on this important day of celebration.
Thank you, Mayor Donchis. I'd ask now that Deputy Police Chief Jim Testaverde come forward representing the Nashua Police Department.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Being sandwiched between the mayor and Chief Rhodes, I knew I was going to have to adjust the microphone significantly. Good morning, Mr. Mayor, Alderman Lopez, Chief Rhodes, Mr. Justin Cates of the Office of Emergency Management, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank Chief Rhodes, Assistant Chief Buxton, and members of the Nashua Fire Rescue for inviting us to this remembrance ceremony today. Growing up, I can recall numerous instances where my parents, grandparents, and their friends would ask one another if they remember where they were when President John F. Kennedy was shot and killed in 1963. Each one could vividly recall their whereabouts. It was extremely eye-opening to me that one event could impact an entire nation to this degree. For our generations, the tragic events of September 11, 2001 had a similar, if not identical, impact. Immediately following this attack on our country, we vowed that we will never forget. Now, 20 years later, we keep our pledge to never forget. We do this to honor those that they gave their lives. So we gather together today to remember the terrorist attacks on U.S. soil. We remember the innocent men, women, and children that lost their lives. We remember the 4 flights that caused the loss of so many lives, 2 in New York City, 1 at the Pentagon, and a 4th in Pennsylvania after the passengers bravely fought their hijackers. And we remember the hundreds of emergency workers, to include firefighters, police officers, EMTs, and military personnel that made the ultimate sacrifice while attempting to save others. Additionally, as we learned years to come, the thousands that suffered from serious chronic health conditions as a result of the hazardous materials that they were exposed to during rescue operations. In watching countless videos of the response to the attacks, one aspect stands out and makes me proud to be a member of the first responder community. During the horrific and unprecedented incident, when America was in utter chaos and turmoil, firefighters, police officers, and paramedics are seen running toward the danger. While common sense and self-preservation instincts tell humans to run from danger, members of our military and first responder community live by a different ethos: to run toward the danger. The actions of our first responder brothers and sisters on this day were not surprising to us, but they were awe-inspiring. We expect this of one another, to be willing to run toward danger to save others. To my brothers and sisters with the Nashua Police Department and Nashua Fire Rescue, I stand here with great pride to be a member of the first responder community along with you. The citizens of Nashua are unbelievably fortunate to have 2 professional, highly trained, and unified agencies working for them. We do not use the same equipment, and at times we view incidents with differing perspectives, but we have worked side by side with each other countless times during extremely chaotic events in order to keep our citizens safe. We gather today to not only honor those that fell before us, but to continue to live by a unique code to put others' safety before our own. In closing, I ask God to bless the innocent civilian victims of the 9/11 attacks and their surviving family members, to bless our fallen comrades who selflessly sacrificed themselves for others, and to bless and keep safe the members of the Nashua Police Department, Nashua Fire Rescue, and all of our families. Thank you all, and be safe.
Thank you, Deputy. I now ask that our host, the Chief of the Department of Nashua Fire Rescue, Brian Rhodes, come forward.
Good morning. I'm going to be somewhat brief today because I think this isn't a day for me to wax poetic. This is a day to remember. So first and foremost, thank you to all for coming and joining us to celebrate the remembrance of thousands of people who died by the vicious and violent acts of terrorism. Remember. Such a simple word, but so easy to forget. Remember the World Trade Center. Remember the Pentagon. Remember Shanksville, Pennsylvania. Remember how weak and vulnerable we felt as a nation on September 11th. In the days and weeks that followed, we came together as a nation. We put aside our differences, and we worked together instead of against each other. Remember how we came together with common goals of strength and unity, of commitment to service for country and community. Remember how good it felt to be united. The best way we can honor and remember the sacrifice of so many is simple. We need to be better. We need to be nicer. We need to show compassion and understanding of others. And remember, we are and will always be stronger when we are united.
Thank you, Chief Rhodes. On September 12th, 2001, our country woke, just like we have done every time our freedom has been attacked. We rallied around many feelings, and we continue to do so. Honor, hope, and resilience. Please keep these words in your hearts as National Fire Rescue Captain Gordon Wilson closes our remembrance service with the healing sounds of bagpipes.